Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. My name is Sarah, and today, we're going to go over my book haul. Now, to be clear, this book haul covers the time period between Christmas and Valentine's Day. I didn't get too many books, but it's enough that I think warrants a video. So, that being said, let's get on into it. The first book, I actually had no idea when I picked this up. It just appeared on my bookshelf, and I find that quite fitting for the book. It Devours by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. Now this book is part of a Night Vale series, and Night Vale, for those of you who don't know, still is I guess, originally a podcast, and the creators of it decided, hey, let's make a couple books, because Night Vale it's a fictional story, but it's told about the strangest town in the universe, and it's told like a radio show. But these books are told in the citizen's perspective. Now, the original book follows the strange man in a deerskin jacket and a leather suitcase. And nobody knows his face and nobody knows his name. But this book, it's not a sequel to the last book. It's just set in the same town, and it follows the story of the Glow Cloud. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Glow Cloud is this giant glowing cloud that drops dead animals over the town and is now part of the parents of the students of the ASB of the junior school. Now, this book I absolutely love. I haven't read it yet, but just looking at it, it's like great design, great spine, and the inside is teeth. Like, plus it has purple pages. Like, if nothing else, this is a very beautiful book, and it's Night Vale, and I love Night Vale. Night Vale is my 13 out of 13. Like, I've yet to read a book that tops Night Vale, and I'm so excited to read this one. Now, my next book, I'm actually not going to be able to read for quite a while, but I'm quite happy that I picked it up. Escapology by Ren Warom. Now, the reason I can't read this for a while is because it has very, very small print. I just got some work done on my eyes. I can finally see, but they're still healing, so I was told not to read small printed books. But, like, guys, I wanted this so much. Now, just to be clear, this is another one of those VR books, but it's different. It's set in the world where, in this digital world that you can go into, it's not just an avatar and a plain field or a city or a castle. It's underwater. The characters become marine animals, hence the shark. Like, I'm just so excited to read this, and it's gonna be a while before I do, but I'm super excited to read this. The next book, you will never hear about it from me again, but I figured I got it, might as well bring it up. The Norse Myths, Guide to the Gods and Heroes by Carolyne Larrington. I'm gonna say it's Larrington. I'm Norse. I'm white as snow, honestly. And I figured I don't know much that's outside of Marvel. And I know for a fact Marvel changed so many things. I just wanted to hear the honest story, like what is really going on in these myths that we're being told, but we're being told incorrectly. So yeah, I'm excited to read this, but it's just another history book, honestly, to me. So you won't hear about it again, but it will be out there. It's out there for me to read. Now, the next two books, I actually don't have one of them here to show you, but it's the Dan and Phil books. The first one is This Amazing Book Is Not on Fire, and the other one, Dan and Phil Go Outside. The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire is currently being used to hold up my camera because I don't own a tripod. But I don't know. I'm super excited to read these. They're mostly pictures, but I got this now, and I'm super excited. I've been hearing people talk about it since freshman year, and I'm just like, someday. And now it's finally someday, so I mean, like, yay. The next book I know basically nothing about, so I mean, we're just gonna see how it turns out. What the Family Needed by Stephen Amsterdam. Now, from what I know, which is, again, nothing, it's essentially like one of those family books, but all the family is superheroes. Think Incredibles, but less incredible. I picked this up at the library bookstore. It was $2, so I couldn't say no. But I don't know, It has that old book smell, even though it's not that old, so if nothing else, there's that. The next book, a little bit out of my genre, but I mean, it was on sale, so can't say no to sale books. 8th Grade Bites, The Chronicles of Vladimir Todd. It's a very short book. It was only $5. Wow, really? It was only $5. I've kind of always liked the idea of vampire stories, but I've never found one that's good enough to properly enjoy. And this is part of a series. It's pretty short, so I mean, why not? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it gets. Talking about books I don't know much about. Yeah, The Ship of the Dead, Magnus Chasing the Gods of Asgard, Book 3. I don't own Book 1. I don't own Book 2. I've never read and or listened to either of those. I was in the bookstore. I was in a big rush. I was being told to hurry. And I just grabbed the Magnus Chase book, and I didn't see the number 3 down here. So, it's gonna be a while before I get here. And I've checked out the audiobooks. I'm not a fan of the narrator's voice, so I'm gonna have to buy the physical copies before I end up getting to this book. The next book, The Diver's Clothes Lie Empty by Vendela Vida. I got this at the dollar store, so right away it's not going to be the best book in the world. But it's pretty short, and the concept seems pretty interesting. It's, from what I can tell, follows the story of this lady who gets stuck in this strange country that she knows nothing about. She has no one there. And while she's checking into her hotel, she gets robbed. She loses all her ID, all her money. And again, she's just stranded there and nowhere to turn. But she doesn't take it as a bad thing. From what I can tell, apparently she ends up in the movie business or something. I'm kind of concerned about this book, though, because it's written in second perspective. And that's where they use the word you instead of I or she. So, concerned because I've never read a book written in that perspective, only fan fiction. So, we'll see. The next one's not a book. It's a script. But, I got it. I'll show it. The Miracle Workers. I was in this play. This is a very, very difficult play to put on. But I absolutely loved it. William did a great job telling the story. It is dramatized from what it actually is. For those of you who don't know, Miracle Workers is the story of Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller. Helen Keller is the girl who is blind and deaf. She cannot see, she cannot hear, and she has been that way since 18 months old, and the time this play takes place, she is 6 years old, and the family has done nothing to teach her manners, to try to control her, to tell her, hey, you can't punch us. So, yeah, there are multiple fights in this. There's an actual food fight in this. And I don't know, I love it. For those of you who don't read scripts that often, they're very quick read. They are easier if you have multiple people speaking it to you, because it's just you only get the dialogue, and it's easier if you hear them in separate voices to distinguish the characters. But most of them are only 60 pages. This one is 100 because of how much blocking there is. This is a normal script page. And, well, this is one in this. This is all blocking. Trust the actors, William, I'm telling ya. Just love it. Very difficult. Very annoying. Yay? Okay, so I've already talked about this one. I'm gonna talk about it again. Carry On by Rowling. I gave myself 3 weeks to read this because it's a rather thick book. I read it in 3 days, so that tells you my opinion on this. It's amazing. I love it. It's brilliant. I should have taken more time to enjoy it. I really should have, but it's very good. If any of you have any interest in magical anything, pick this up. Pick this up. The next book, again, you guys already kind of know about it. but not really. The Masked City by Genevieve Cogman. This is an Invisible Library novel, meaning it is book 2 in the Invisible Library series. I've already done a review on the Invisible Library. Please, I'll leave the link down below. I love that book. There are some clear problems with it, but it's a genuine story that I want to keep reading. But I've read the first couple chapters in this so far. Not the best start, but it's getting somewhere, and it still has that Invisible Library feel about it. I'm definitely excited to read this. The last book, and I'm telling you it's definitely the last. Well, Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, Hufflepuff edition. This should tell you so much about me. I already own American First Edition Sorcerer's Stone, but I had to get. I got this from the UK Amazon, guys. Like, I needed this book. It's Hufflepuff. But it is kind of annoying that certain words are spelled differently, but Hufflepuff, guys. Hufflepuff. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I know it's a little bit offbeat video, but don't worry. Next week we'll be back to normal with all our reviews and everything for the next 5 weeks. Yeah, there's 5 weeks next month. So be looking forward to that. And if you have any suggestions on what I should add to this pile of books right here, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. I'd love to see what you guys want me to read next and possibly give my opinion on. And after all, good night, good evening, and good morning, everybody.